There's one truth Aldi doesn't put on a big sign for you. The best deals are rarely in the most obvious places. While most shoppers skim the shelves and head to checkout, Aldi employees quietly hunt for items whose value far exceeds the price on the label. These are the insider deals employees tend to keep to themselves, only revealing them if you know the right timing and know how to look. And once you do, it's very hard to shop the same way again. You'd be awesome if you liked this video. 10. The premium chocolate employees keep to themselves. Don't let the simple look of the specially selected bars fool you. At Aldi, this is the chocolate employees buy before their shifts, or stash away, because it sells out fast. The first thing you notice when you snap a bar is that clean, crisp snap, a sign of properly tempered chocolate. It melts slowly and smoothly, with a clear 70% cocoa profile, rich but not harsh, leaving a clean finish with a gentle sweetness that's very pleasant. What really stands out is the price, starting at just $1.99, yet the eating experience rivals premium brands like Lindt or Ghirardelli. This isn't chocolate you eat mindlessly and forget. The balance improves with each bite, salt, sweetness, and bitterness in just the right proportions, perfect for slow snacking and easy to overdo if you're not careful. Variations like dark chocolate sea salt or chocolate-covered espresso beans are even more addictive. One piece inevitably leads to another. So why do employees hide it? Because they understand how Aldi works. Great products at great prices disappear quickly, especially once word gets around. Whether you put it out for guests, bring it as a small gift, or keep it in your desk drawer for an afternoon energy dip, this chocolate does its job exceptionally well. No fancy packaging, no flowery marketing. Just open it and taste, and you'll understand why it's so sought after. 9. The $2.95 cheese block Aldi employees rush to buy. If you're holding a familiar bag of processed cheese slices, pause for a moment and look at the aged reserve white cheddar block right next to it. Priced at just $2.95, this is the cheese Aldi employees rush to grab before their shifts. The reason is simple. Its quality doesn't rely on marketing tricks. It's obvious from the very first break. Look closely, and you'll notice tiny white crystals sparkling throughout the cheese. That's a sign of proper aging, something cheap cheeses never have. The texture is firm yet pleasantly crumbly, with a light crack when you break it, not rubbery or mushy. On the palate, it's clearly sharp without being aggressive, finishing nutty, slightly sweet, and complex. The more you chew, the more flavor develops. This is the kind of cheese you can eat straight from the block, no crackers or sauces needed, and still feel completely satisfied. The comparison is where it gets shocking. At specialty cheese shops or upscale supermarkets, an aged cheddar of comparable quality typically costs $15 to $20, or even more when sold by the pound. Yet at Aldi, it sits quietly on the shelf at a price that many people skip, assuming it can't be that good. That assumption is exactly why it's still there for those who know what to look for. Employees understand the pattern. Low-priced, high-quality items vanish fast, so they time their purchases when shelves are restocked. Put this cheddar on a cheese board, and people will ask where you bought it, and often won't believe you when you say Aldi. If there's one item that can completely change how you think about budget cheese, it's this $2.95 block. 8. Plant-based meatballs that fool your taste buds. When people think of vegetarian food, many still associate it with being bland and overpriced. Earth-grown meatless. Meatballs from Aldi exist to completely flip that assumption. Priced at $3.99 for 16 meatballs, they cost about half as much as many well-known plant-based brands. Yet the eating experience leaves plenty of people genuinely surprised. What allows these meatballs to trick even dedicated meat lovers is the texture. They're dense, firm, and substantial, not crumbly or mushy like many other vegetarian options. When pan-seared, the outside browns nicely and forms a light crust while the inside stays moist, remarkably similar to real meat. The seasoning is well-balanced, with clear Italian-style herbs, garlic, and a subtle smoky note, without the strange aftertaste often associated with plant-based products. Many Aldi employees share a familiar story. Customers cook them just like regular meatballs, enjoy the meal, then come back asking why these meatballs taste so good, only to freeze when they learn they were meatless. That convincing performance is exactly why earth-grown has become a safe, go-to option for family meals where tastes vary widely. The easiest crowd pleaser is to pan-sear them until the edges are nicely browned. Then, drop them into marinara sauce and serve with pasta or in a sandwich. As food prices continue to climb, this is one of the rare items that's genuinely affordable, genuinely tasty, and offers a welcome break from red meat. If there's a vegetarian dish that can make a hardcore meat lover go quiet for a few seconds after the first bite, it's very likely earth-grown meatless meatballs. 7. Cheap produce on Wednesday mornings. Mark your calendar for Wednesday mornings. This is when Aldi truly reveals itself as a real bargain grocery haven. Once the weekly specials officially go into effect, the produce section changes noticeably. Fresh stock hits the shelves, prices are sharply adjusted, and many items drop 30 to 50% compared to the rest of the week. This isn't random luck. It's part of Aldi's fixed operating cycle. Shop early on Wednesday morning and you'll find bags of juicy strawberries, bright green avocados, asparagus, and seasonal vegetables priced so low you'll double-check the tag. Quality is usually at its best at this time, since the produce has just been rotated and hasn't sat out for days. With the same budget, your Wednesday morning cart is almost always fuller than it would be on the weekend. There's more. Another gold mine many people overlook is the produce rescue bags, often called markdown bags. These bundles collect fruits and vegetables with imperfect appearances, an apple with a bruise, a few loose tomatoes, or a separated bunch of bananas. They may not look pretty, but they're perfectly fine to eat. And the price is extremely friendly, usually just $1 to $2 for a large bag. They're ideal for soups, stews, smoothies, or weekly meal prep. Going early on Wednesday morning doesn't just get you fresher, cheaper produce in larger quantities. It also helps you avoid empty shelves. It's a small habit that makes a big difference in weekly grocery spending. Once you get used to this rhythm, it's very hard to go back to impulse grocery shopping like before. Like the video if this surprised you. 6. The cheap coffee that made many people regret ever buying Starbucks. There's a very familiar moment for anyone trying Barissimo for the first time. You take the first sip, go quiet for a few seconds, then blurt out one sentence. Why didn't I know about this sooner? Not because Barissimo is some fancy high-end specialty coffee, but because it does everything a daily cup of coffee needs to do, at a price that forces you to rethink your spending habits. At $3.99 for a 12-ounce bag, Barissimo costs roughly one-third of what you'd pay for Starbucks or other major supermarket brands. Yet once brewed, the coffee aroma is still clear, the flavor balanced, not sharply acidic, not burnt or bitter. The Donut Shop blend is smooth and approachable, perfect for mornings. The breakfast blend is brighter and lighter, energizing without feeling heavy. Most importantly, it's consistent. Bag after bag tastes nearly the same, something many higher-priced coffees fail to deliver. Many Aldi employees admit they used to be die-hard Starbucks fans. Every week, they bought expensive coffee out of habit, without thinking twice. Only after trying Barissimo did they realize they had been paying more for the brand than for the taste. Some even ran the numbers and discovered that simply switching coffee saved them a few $100s a year, without sacrificing their morning routine at all. Barissimo doesn't try to impress or boast about exotic bean origins. It exists to be a daily driver, the coffee you drink every day reliably, without overthinking it. And it's exactly that practicality that makes many people feel a bit of regret. Regret for years of automatically buying Starbucks, while a simpler, cheaper solution had been sitting on Aldi's shelves all along. 5. 5-minute pasta. That tastes like a restaurant meal. There are evenings when you don't want to settle for something mediocre, but you also don't have the energy to really cook. That's when Priano fresh pasta and sauces show their true value. No cooking skills required, no complicated prep, just 5 minutes to boil the pasta and heat the sauce, and you have a dinner that looks polished enough to feel like it came from an Italian restaurant. What sets Priano apart is that it's genuinely fresh pasta. The noodles and ravioli are made with eggs, giving them a soft texture with a proper bite, not crumbly, not mushy. They cook very quickly, and once lifted from the pot, you can see the smooth outer layer and generously filled centers, not thin or skimpy. Options like lobster ravioli or cheese tortellini aren't just fancy names. The flavors are distinct and immediately recognizable. The sauces are another pleasant surprise. The cream sauces are rich without being heavy. The marinara is clean and tomato-forward. And the pesto is fragrant with herbs, never harsh or oily. When mixed with hot pasta, everything comes together quickly, with little to no extra seasoning needed. This is the kind of meal that's hard to mess up, even if you're not confident in the kitchen. Many Aldi employees say they rely on Priano for weeknight dinners, when they need something fast but still want to eat properly. Some even joke that their families think they've suddenly become much better cooks, when the truth is simply knowing what to buy. Compared to making pasta from scratch or ordering delivery, Priano saves both time and money, while still delivering a satisfying, complete dining experience. 4. The loaf of bread that makes your kitchen smell like a bakery. There's a simple trick that instantly makes a home meal feel more elevated, even if you didn't cook anything elaborate. Put a loaf of specially selected artisan bread in the oven. This is par-baked bread, meaning it's almost fully baked already, and only needs another 8 to 10 minutes in your oven. But what happens next is what really stands out. The entire kitchen suddenly smells like an artisan bakery. Once baked, the crust cracks slightly and turns crisp, with a satisfying crackle when sliced. Inside, the crumb is soft and airy, with just the right amount of moisture, not dry or crumbly. Flavors like rosemary deliver a clear herbal aroma that tastes natural, not artificial, while the jalapeno cheddar version has lightly melted cheese with a gentle warmth from the peppers. Perfect, alongside soup or stew. What surprises many people is that this bakery-style experience doesn't require an actual bakery visit. Aldi employees often share that they buy a few loaves, freeze them while still par-baked, and bake one whenever needed, convenient and budget-friendly. Set it on the table and guests will often ask where you bought it, sometimes assuming you stopped by a bakery on the way home. Specially selected artisan bread isn't just bread, it's an atmosphere. The smell of freshly baked bread makes dinner feel warmer and more inviting, even when the menu is simple. Sometimes one well-chosen loaf is all it takes to turn an everyday kitchen into the setting for a memorable meal. 3. Clean chicken breast at a hard-to-believe price. At a time when meat prices seem to climb week after week, Aldi's Never Any line feels like an unlikely exception. These are chicken breasts with no antibiotics and no added hormones, yet they're priced the same, or even lower, than conventional chicken at many other stores. It sounds counterintuitive, but cook them once and you'll understand why Aldi employees often recommend this line to friends and family. The biggest difference is the quality of the meat itself. Never Any. Chicken breasts are reasonably sized, not unnaturally large pieces that cook unevenly. When pan-seared or baked, they don't release excessive water or shrink to half their size like chicken that's been pumped with saline solution. In practical terms, what you buy is what you eat. The meat is firm and well-textured, retaining its natural moisture with a clean chicken flavor rather than a watery taste. From a cooking perspective, this chicken is very forgiving. It works well pan-seared, roasted, shredded for salads, or prepped in advance for the week. Because it isn't pre-salted from injected solutions, you have full control over seasoning, and marinades absorb evenly and cleanly. Many households notice that simply switching to Never Any makes meals feel lighter and more consistent, especially for kids or anyone eating more carefully. What surprises people most is that this price isn't a short-term promotion. It's part of Aldi's everyday lineup, meaning the savings come from cutting costs elsewhere, not from lowering quality. No flashy packaging, no loud marketing, just a product that does exactly what it's supposed to do. If there's one item that truly breaks the assumption that cheap means low quality, Never Any. Chicken breast is it. For anyone who eats chicken regularly, this isn't just a one-time trial. It's very likely to become the default choice on every Aldi run. 2. The $2.95 wine that beats blind tests. Don't glance at Winking Owl's $2.95 price tag and move on too quickly. That too cheap to be serious price is exactly why so many people misjudge this wine. In blind tastings, where tasters don't know what they're drinking or how much it costs, Winking Owl has repeatedly matched and sometimes even outperformed bottles priced at $15 to $20. That's when long-held assumptions about wine start to crack. Winking Owl doesn't try to be a collector's bottle or something meant for formal tastings. It's made to be easygoing, enjoyable, and pressure-free. The Cabernet Sauvignon is smooth and well-rounded, with clear fruit notes that pair nicely with weeknight dinners. The Pinot Grigio is crisp and refreshing, light with a clean finish, especially pleasant when served cold, the kind of wine you pour after work without overthinking it. There aren't layers of complexity to analyze, but there are also no harsh flaws that make you wince. What's especially fun is when people bring Winking Owl to a party, pour it into a decanter for presentation, and receive genuine compliments. When the price is revealed, the reaction is often laughter or disbelief, because what's in the glass simply doesn't match the number on the label. At this price, you can keep a few bottles on hand, one for cooking red wine sauces, one for sharing with friends, and one to unwind on a quiet weekend night. Winking Owl isn't for those chasing sophistication, but for people who enjoy wine in an everyday, uncomplicated way. It's a rare bargain. Blind tests only confirm what many have already discovered. A higher price doesn't always mean a better experience, and sometimes the bottle that brings the most joy is the cheapest one on the shelf. 1. The deep discount dawn rule. There's a time window Aldi never advertises, yet it's when the most valuable deals quietly appear. It's the first hour after the store opens, what seasoned shoppers simply call the dawn rule. If you've ever wondered how some people manage to score beautiful steaks or fresh salmon at shockingly low prices, this is the answer. The system is straightforward. Aldi has a strict policy against selling fresh food on its sell-by date. So early in the morning, employees walk through the meat, seafood, dairy, and refrigerated sections, applying red or yellow markdown stickers to items with 1 to 2 days left. Discounts are typically 50%, and for items that need to move quickly, they can reach 75%. These aren't old or defective products. They're still in great condition, just on a tight timeline. What makes this window unique is how quietly and quickly it happens. No announcements, no big signs. Those who know the rules show up around opening time, head straight to the meat and seafood cases, and scan for red stickers. No hesitation, no noise. A premium steak tray or a fresh pack of salmon can be gone in minutes. Arrive late, and the shelves may already be bare, as if the deal never existed at all. One insider tip from longtime shoppers. If you spot an item with only 1 day left that hasn't been marked down yet, politely ask an employee. In many cases, they're happy to apply the discount on the spot, since they need to clear the item before the end of the day anyway. This kind of savings isn't about luck. It's about understanding how the system works. These secret deals at Aldi aren't about loud promotions. They're about understanding how the store operates and knowing when to shop. From everyday staples to surprisingly affordable premium items, the real value only reveals itself if you pay closer attention to the shelves. Shopping early, reading the labels, and buying based on real needs lets you eat better while spending less. Once you understand these patterns, Aldi is no longer just a discount grocery store. It becomes a place for smart shopping. Which secret in the video surprised you the most?